Hi there, it's Laura here from Laura's Creative Pages and Cards, and we're making Wishing You a Happy Day Today card. So of course we need a card base, and this one is the one that is 5.5 wide by 4.25 in height. Then we're going to need a piece of the confetti paper, which is cut at 5.5 wide by 2.75. We'll also need 2 pieces of Glacier cardstock. These ones here were cut at 3/8 by 5.5, and 2 raspberry pieces which were cut at 1/8 by 5.5. You'll need just a small scrap piece of lemonade to stamp the word day on. And then this particular piece here was cut at 3/8 by 2 3/8 for the Wishing You A. You'll also just need a scrap piece of confetti paper because that's what we're going to use to stamp the happy on that we're going to be cutting out. So just a scrap piece of that, roughly 1.25 in height. Alright, let's get to putting this piece on. So we're going to start with the large confetti piece, and I'm just going to put 6 spots of adhesive on that, and I'm actually going to use my Versamat that's below it to lay the card on the grid, and I'm going to be able to use that so that I can line up my confetti piece correctly. There's 3/4 of an inch top and bottom of this confetti piece, so I can use the grid to make sure that I've got the right amount of gap top and bottom, plus it also helps me line it up from left to right by using the grid. Once that's stuck on, I'm going to bring in the Glacier pieces of card, and I am going to stick them, I'm going to butt them right up against the confetti paper. So these strips here just need 3 pieces of tape to get them well stuck, and that's going to stick right up against the confetti paper. And then I'm going to bring in the second one, and I'm going to do the same thing and put the 3 bits of tape on it and then stick that to the very top. Now that those ones are going to be stuck on, the next thing I need to do is bring in the little raspberry, just those little 1/8 strips. They're actually going to be stuck over those joins. They're going to hide the join between the confetti and the Glacier. So I'm just going to put a small amount of tape. I'm actually going to put it on 4 places on this particular strip because it's a bit narrow and it will be easily moved and wobbled. I want 4 pieces on this particular one. So, and I'm just placing that over the join. It just gives it a really crisp and clean look, and something a little bit different. So I'm just going to bring in the second one now and just repeat the process and put 4 pieces of tape along that strip there, and then place that one also over the join. Right, so that there is the start of the card with the construction. Next, I want to show you how I've stamped this happy. So using the scrap piece of confetti paper, again this is about 1.25 inches in height, I'm going to stamp the outline of the happy on it in the intense black, in black ink. So that just needs to be stamped in the center of that paper. It doesn't matter that it's not a large piece of paper for the border of the solid piece because we are just needing the happy. We're going to be fussy cutting those out. So I've used Lagoon in this particular card, and using the solid stamp from the stamp set, I'm just going to make sure I ink that up really well, and I just need the happy, just the word, so it doesn't matter if I don't get all the border inked up because I'm not needing that in this particular project. And then I'm just going to line that up over the outline that I previously stamped. Once I'm happy that it's lined up, give it a really firm press, and hey presto, I have Lagoon ink lined up inside that outline. Alright, now if you don't have Lagoon ink, you will probably need another option. So I've stamped it again here in the black outline, and I'm using my ice blue blend, and I'm going to use the light end of the colour, and I'm going to colour that over the top. Now I've chosen a light colour because I do want that confetti decorativeness of the paper to show through the colour. I don't want to pick a dark colour, otherwise I'm going to lose the effect of having that confetti still show through the inking that I'm putting over the top. So okay, now I do actually have a third option which is really fun and a bit different, and that's by using Stickles, which is a glitter glue, and this is the diamond one. This is my most favourite Stickles, and I'm just going to fill in the letters with this glitter glue, and it gives it a really sparkly fun look. And so this is just another alternative option for colouring in the letters. And this one, of course, being a clear glitter glue, is definitely going to show the confetti paper through it. So I'm just filling in the A, and I'm going to bring this up closer to the camera so you can see how amazingly, glittery and crystally it looks. So that's just another fabulous way of being able to colour in. Okay, once it's all inked up, we are going to need to cut them off into individual letters. So my recommendation for cutting is go through and actually chop each letter off roughly, so that when you're fussy cutting, you're only fussy cutting around an individual letter. And my last tip for this is the P and Y are so close together, actually start cutting the Y neatly straight up. And then that way you've got the right amount of gap. So go through and cut each of those letters off individually, and with a little white border around them, because as I've said before, the little white border just hides our imperfections in cutting. So I'm just going to pop that aside, and the cutting fairy is going to get that one done for me. Right, now we just need that scrap piece of lemonade, and we're going to stamp the day on the scrap piece of lemonade with black ink. So that was already pre-done. And then as you can see, I've actually coloured in. So even though it's stamped on the lemonade, I've still coloured in with the orange blend with the light end. And it's just another way of showcasing that we can still colour in on top of a coloured cardstock. Now, if you don't own a coloured pen, you could just simply leave it in the lemonade look. You certainly don't need to colour it in. Okay, pop that there, and the colouring and fairy will do that one for me. All right, here we have the lemonade piece that was cut at the 2 3/8 by 3/8, and this is for the Wishing You A. And I'm just going to stamp that there in the Intense Black, and I'm going to make sure that I stamp it in the centre of that piece. So of course this is what's so fabulous about having our clear see-through blocks, so I can get that right in the centre of my very small piece of card. Perfect. Now I'm going to grab my journal pen, and I'm going to create this little fun coloured border. So I'm going to start with my thin black journal pen, and I'm going to just draw my journal outline border. So I've done this many times on many cards, so I'm just going to drag my hand down along the longer length and get that little journal border in. Now I realise that I haven't drawn in my journal border on the glacier pieces, and I've missed that by accident, but I will do that later. Okay, now that that journal border is in, I'm just going to use the same pen that I coloured in the day, and I'm just going to colour in around the edge to my journal border, just to give it a really fun, creative edge. Okay, it is time to put all of the wording onto the card. This is what finishes it. So first of all, before I even start sticking down, I'm going to place all of the letters on the card in the rough position that I want them on. Two things: it makes sure I've got all my letters, and then secondly, so I know how to space it. Now I'm using the narrower of the thin 3D foam tape, because you get 2 rolls in the pack, and this particular one is great because I can just cut it in half, and then it becomes the right width to use on my letters. So I just cut that one piece into 2 pieces, and that fits on the H perfectly. Peel that off, and then I'm going to place that on my card where I want to start the wording. Then I'm actually going to move over to the Y, and I'm going to stick the Y on second, so that I've got the same spacing from the edge of the card to the H and the same spacing from the edge of the card to the Y. And then I'm going to go through and place them all on with 3D foam tape. So this is the last letter just going on now. Brilliant. Okay, now we need to add the Wishing You A. Same, I'm going to attach that with 3D foam tape. I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. It just really elevates a card and just makes it look a little bit more special. So I'm just using that narrow tape, cutting it in half, placing a piece at each end of the sentiment, and then I'm just going to add that to the card just above the happy. So now we have Wishing You a Happy, and we just now need to add the day. So the day looks really fun and a bit funky by going across the Y rather than sitting beneath it. And for the day, I've made sure that I've actually attached 2 pieces of the 3D foam tape on top of each other to raise it up that second level, so it's a little bit higher than the Y on the happy. So I just place one piece down and then I just put another piece directly over the top to make it a double layer. And I'm going to do that with the A and the Y as well. And of course, when I'm attaching this foam tape to the letters that are going over the Y, I'm ensuring that I only put the tape where it's not going to be on top of the Y. So it needs to be to the left of it or to the right of it. And let's just add on this Y as well with 2 pieces so that it's all the same height. Perfect. So I have here wishing you a happy day. Now I just want to show you the alternative colouring in options. So this here is showing you the letters that were coloured in with the ice blue on the light end. And again, this is brilliant and it shows you that it works fantastically. And then of course the third option was with the diamond stickles. So I'm just going to grab those particular letters and place them over the top to show you what this one looks like. I love this look. It's almost a bit shadowy looking, you know. It doesn't probably pop, or maybe not as quite as bold, but it's really fun being sparkly and glittery. Once I've got these letters on, I'll bring it a little bit closer to the camera so that you can really see the effect of how fun it is in the glitter. So there we go. It's really fun. So this is day 8 completed, and it's a really fun card that you could definitely replicate with another decorative piece of paper. But of course, don't forget to add your little journal border to the edge of the card that I did forget. Have a great day.